Every year, thousands of older drivers across Britain give up their keys not because they stopped being capable, but because their vehicle made driving feel harder than it should. Last year alone, seniors were involved in thousands of avoidable accidents simply because their SUV was working against their body rather than with it. These 4 SUVs were chosen specifically because they support your independence, protect you on British roads, and give you genuine reasons to keep driving confidently in 2026. 4. Nissan Qashqai. Vision changes after 60 whether you notice it or not. Peripheral vision narrows, depth perception weakens, and British roads do not forgive hesitation. Roundabouts where 3 lanes of traffic merge at once, narrow village lanes where 2 cars barely fit, tight supermarket car parks where the pillars block your view at exactly the wrong moment. The Nissan Qashqai was built with visibility as a genuine priority, and on British roads specifically, that decision matters more than almost anything else on the specification sheet. The A-pillars are thinner than most SUVs in this class. The windows are larger. The seating position puts your eyes at a height where you can actually see what is happening at a junction without leaning forward or craning your neck. At a roundabout, you can see the oncoming car clearly, judge the gap confidently, and pull out without that split-second doubt that makes driving stressful rather than straightforward. The 360-degree parking camera system takes the anxiety out of maneuvering completely. Reversing into a space, parking on a busy high street, pulling out of a driveway with limited visibility behind you, the camera shows you exactly what is there. No guessing, no relying on mirrors alone. For anyone whose neck stiffness makes turning to check behind you uncomfortable, that system is not a convenience feature, it is genuinely useful every single day. Blind spot monitoring watches the lanes beside you constantly. When a car sits in the zone your mirrors cannot cover, the system warns you before you move. On a motorway, changing lanes at 60 miles an hour with a vehicle hidden in your blind spot is one of the most common causes of serious accidents among older drivers. The Qashqai removes that risk quietly and without fuss. Lane departure warning brings another layer of protection on longer journeys. Concentration fluctuates on a 2-hour motorway run in a way it simply did not 20 years ago. If the car drifts toward the white line, the system alerts you immediately. It is not intrusive. It does not go off every few minutes. It is simply there when it matters. Used examples in solid condition sit between £8,000 and £13,000 for pre-2020 models, with new 2026 models starting from £30,635 on the road. Parts are available at every garage across Britain, and servicing costs stay consistently reasonable year after year. For older drivers who want to stay confident, safe, and completely in control on British roads, the Qashqai makes a very strong case for itself. 3. Skoda Kodiaq. After 60, your body notices things it never used to. A rough stretch of road that your back feels for the rest of the afternoon. A bumpy car park that jars your spine on the way out. A long motorway run that leaves you stiff and uncomfortable by the time you arrive. Most SUVs in this price range were not built with that reality in mind. The Skoda Kodiaq was. The suspension on the Kodiaq was tuned specifically for comfort, and the difference is something you feel immediately. It absorbs road imperfections rather than transferring them into the cabin. For anyone managing back pain, arthritis, or osteoporosis, that is not a small thing. Arriving at your destination feeling the same as when you left is exactly what a well-designed car should do, and the Kodiaq delivers that consistently. The automatic emergency braking system monitors the road ahead constantly and reacts faster than any human can. If a car stops suddenly in front of you, or a pedestrian steps out without warning, the system applies the brakes before you have had time to process what is happening. For drivers whose reaction times have naturally slowed with age, and that is a completely normal part of getting older, having that backup working silently in the background makes every journey genuinely safer. Lane Assist does more than warn you when you drift. It gently steers you back toward the center of the lane without any sudden input. That could startle you. On longer journeys where concentration naturally fluctuates, that quiet correction is a meaningful safety net rather than an intrusive alarm. The cabin itself was designed around practicality that older drivers actually notice. The seats are broad, well supported, and positioned at a height that makes getting in and out straightforward without strain. The boot floor sits at a sensible loading height so that groceries, luggage or a wheelchair do not require bending uncomfortably. The controls for heating, ventilation and audio are physical buttons placed exactly where your hand reaches without taking your eyes off the road. Skoda has always understood that technology should make driving easier, not more complicated, and the Kodiaq reflects that philosophy throughout. The 2.0 TDI diesel in pre-2021 models is well proven, refined and delivers genuine fuel efficiency on the longer motorway runs that many retired drivers make regularly. Servicing is straightforward. Parts are widely available across the UK. And because the Kodiaq shares its platform with Volkswagen, no specialist knowledge is required to maintain it. Used examples in solid condition sit between £12,000 and £18,000 for pre-2021 models. If a new model is on your radar, the 2026 Kodiaq starts from £38,140 on the road. And for that money, you are getting a car that takes the physical toll of driving seriously and addresses it at every level. 2. Honda CR-V. Every year, older drivers across Britain quietly stop making journeys they used to make without thinking. Not because they lost confidence in themselves, but because their car slowly stopped supporting them. The Honda CR-V was built around the opposite idea. It was designed to keep you driving longer, more comfortably, and with considerably more confidence than most SUVs at this price will ever offer. Honda's reliability record in the UK is not marketing. What Car's 2025 survey ranked Honda as the #1 brand in Britain with a 96.6% reliability rating across all their models. That result comes from decades of engineering discipline, and the CR-V sits at the heart of it. Pre-2019 models with the 2.0-litre naturally aspirated petrol engine are the ones to focus on specifically. No turbocharger complications, no timing chain anxiety, just a straightforward engine that owners across Britain are regularly running past 150,000 miles on nothing beyond routine servicing. The Honda Sensing Safety Suite comes standard, and it works as a complete system rather than a collection of individual alerts. Forward collision braking detects vehicles and pedestrians ahead and applies the brakes automatically if you do not react in time. Lane keeping assist does not simply warn you when you drift, it actively steers you back toward the centre of the lane with a gentle, natural correction. Road departure mitigation monitors the edges of the road and responds if the car begins to move toward a curb or verge. These systems work together quietly in the background, and for anyone whose reactions or concentration are not quite what they were, that integrated safety net is one of the most valuable things any car can offer. Getting in and out of the CR-V was clearly thought about carefully during the design process. The seat height sits at almost exactly hip level when you are standing beside the car, which means you are not climbing up or lowering yourself down. You simply sit, the way you would settle into a chair at home. The door opening is wider than most competitors in this class, which makes a genuine difference if you use a walking stick or simply need a little more room to move comfortably. The grab handles are solid and positioned exactly where your hand naturally reaches when you are steadying yourself. Physical therapists have pointed to these specific details about the CR-V, and they are the kind of details that reveal a car designed with real people in mind rather than showroom appeal. The infotainment system is clear and uncluttered. Climate and audio controls are physical buttons that respond immediately without requiring you to navigate through touchscreen menus while driving. The fonts are large and readable. Everything is where you expect it to be. Used examples in solid condition sit between £9,000 and £15,000 for pre-2019 models. For those considering new, the 2026 CR-V starts from £45,975 on the road. You're getting the most reliably engineered SUV on this list, a safety system that works as a genuine safety net, and a car that was built around the reality of how people actually use a vehicle every day. 1. Toyota RAV4. There is a specific kind of stress that comes with an unreliable car, and most people do not realize how much it is affecting them until it is gone. The worry about whether it will start on a cold morning, the anxiety of a long journey far from home, the dread of a phone call from a garage with a bill that was not in the budget. For older drivers managing everything on a retirement income, that background stress is not trivial. It affects how often you are willing to get in the car and go somewhere, and over time, it quietly shrinks your world. The Toyota RAV4 removes that worry more completely than any other SUV on this list. The Warranty-Wise Reliability Index consistently places Toyota among the very top manufacturers in the UK for long-term dependability, and the RAV4 is the model that carries that reputation most completely. Owners across Britain are regularly reporting 150,000, 170,000, even 200,000 miles with nothing beyond routine servicing, oil changes, filters, and tyres. Parts are available at every independent garage across the country. Servicing costs stay predictable year after year, and no specialist knowledge is required to maintain it. You are never dependent on a single dealership, never faced with a repair that requires sourcing obscure components, and never left wondering whether the next bill will be manageable. Toyota Safety Sense comes standard on every RAV4, and it operates as a genuinely integrated system. Pre-collision braking with pedestrian detection monitors the road ahead and reacts automatically if something enters your path and you do not respond in time. Lane departure alert with steering assist keeps you centered on the road without sudden or startling corrections. Automatic high beams adjust your lighting based on oncoming traffic so that night driving requires less active management from you. Road departure mitigation monitors the edges of the carriageway and intervenes if the car begins drifting toward a curb or verge. For anyone whose reaction times have changed with age, and that is a completely normal part of getting older, these systems working together in the background represent a meaningful and genuine safety net on every single journey. The driving experience was built around confidence rather than performance. The seating position is upright and clear, giving you an unobstructed view of the road ahead and the junctions, roundabouts, and tight situations that British roads present constantly. The suspension absorbs road imperfections without transferring them into your back on longer runs. The instrumentation is large and readable. The controls are logically placed and respond immediately. Nothing about the RAV4 asks more of you than necessary, and that is precisely the point. Pre-2019 models with the 2.0-litre or 2.5-litre petrol engine represent the sweet spot for used buyers. Proven, unfussy and completely at home on British roads in every condition. Used examples in solid condition sit between £12,000 and £18,000, with the all-new 6th generation 2026 model starting from £43,845 on the road. The RAV4 was never trying to be the most glamorous SUV on this list. It was trying to be the one you could trust completely every morning for as long as you need it. After decades on British roads, it has earned that reputation without question.